Yeah, there you go. You should encourage me.
Please tell me you don't have that on camera. Busted. I came here tonight with absolutely nothing in mind to talk about. That's not an extraordinary event for me, as most of you who know me will recognize. But I was listening to some of the amazing stories that were told in the first half, and I thought, okay, I can do this if y'all will just kind of indulge me a little bit. So with that in mind, I'll tell you a story that is kind of a variation on a theme from a prior story. I also had the misfortune of being mugged. Why this person would pick on someone like me to mug is beyond me, but we're talking about a different variety of rocket scientists, apparently. What happened, most of you, or some of you may know a little bit about me from some of the stories that I've told earlier, that as a young person, I wasn't particularly known for making intelligent decisions. One of the less intelligent decisions that I made as a young person very early in my marriage, my first marriage, was that I decided that I wanted to move to Durham, North Carolina, of all places, and I was going to do it without a job waiting for me when I got down there. So I ended up being a used car salesman in downtown Durham, which that's another whole story for another night. Amazingly enough, I wasn't particularly good at it either. So what happened was I had this young man come in one day, and he decided he wanted to look at a brand new car and that he wanted to go on a test drive. So it happened to be my turn to take the next person for a test drive, so I jumped in the car with this young man, and we went driving around Durham, North Carolina. We went driving to places in Durham, North Carolina that I didn't know existed at the time. And from the looks of them, a lot of other people didn't know that it existed either. We were driving down through this one side street, and another car approaches. And the young gentleman that I was showing the car to, test driving the car with, was driving, and he decided that he recognized this man, so they stopped. The one car is facing this way, we're facing the other. So the drivers were right beside each other. And they were just kind of talking back and forth. I had no idea exactly what they were saying, but then the guy in the other car looked at him and said, "You're out of your mind." And the red flag really didn't go up for me at that point in time. I told you, I'm really not that good at used car salesman. I thought that he was saying something like, "I'm going to buy a new car," and this other kid was saying, "You're out of your mind." Well, actually what it was that he had mouthed to him apparently was, "I'm going to rob this dumbass sitting beside me in about 2 minutes." So he says, "Pull over here. I want to get out and look at the car." And again, I'm swallowing this thing. I mean, the hook is now right about here. It's almost all the way down. So I get out, and we're walking around, and he's talking to me and everything, and he says, "Oh yeah, there's just one other thing I wanted to tell you. This is a stick-up." Hello. So he proceeds to tell me that he wants everything that I have, which I'm a used car salesman, so I got about 3/4 in my pocket and a $2 bill that's older than I am in my wallet. So I got nothing to give this kid. He puts a pair of handcuffs on me in the front, which again, we're not talking about rocket science here. And while he's looking around, I think what he said, if I remember now correctly, he said, "I want you to take me someplace." So I got in the car. All right, now he's still outside the car. Over my shoulder, I waved goodbye. So I'm now driving down. This is a stick on the floor. Okay? I got hands that are this far apart, trying to steer and shift. And not only that, but I've just been mugged, by the way, you know. So the first thing I do is obviously get out of there, and I drive to a location that I think is fairly safe, and I pull in and I get out of the car and I'm looking around again for somebody to call. Who should I call? At least I had somebody that wasn't 8 and 10. But they called the police for me and everything, and they came. And the beauty of this thing is, now these are trained professionals, folks. We're not talking about amateurs that have never seen anything like this. We're talking Durham, North Carolina, first of all, which is like the crime capital of the South. And I'm standing there like this, and this investigator, for lack of a better word, is asking me questions. What did he look like? What happened? In the meantime, I can no longer feel my fingers. I mean, they're so tight that it's shut off the circulation. And I said, I'd be delighted to answer anything you want me to answer. Just cut off the handcuffs. What do you say, guys? So they did, and everything worked out okay. And as it turned out, this was apparently not this young man's first rodeo. And again, not a particularly intelligent guy. He had left his little fanny pack in the back seat with a picture ID, I swear to God. So it's like it took even the crime investigators of the century, it took them about 20 minutes to find this guy. And so it turns out he was on probation, and he was going to be going back to his hometown for quite some time. Just my luck, I get one paying customer and he ends up mugging me, so what do you